friends. I'm Karen, and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. Today, I want to talk about things that we prep in our kitchen for the week. Now, I'm not talking about meals, not meal prep, but other things. So snacks, protein maybe to add to breakfast, sauces, salad dressings, bone broth, sides maybe for family members who don't eat wheat or who are gluten-free, and then I want to replace them with something. And then the meat and veg that I cook through the week. So I'm mainly going to be talking about all the things that we prep at the beginning of the week, but I may just mention some of the others. So this really helps me because then I've got snacks organized. I've got a good breakfast supplement organized when the kids make their own breakfast. We've got homemade sauces, and we've got all the things that really help with the health and with the flavor and the yumminess. So the first thing, snacks. So we try to do these at the beginning of the week. My kids are partly old enough, half of them are old enough to do this on their own, so that really helps. So my oldest daughter often does some muffins for the week. So that'll be, we grind some spelt flour, because my hubby doesn't eat wheat, so we do the spelt flour. So we grind from spelt grains, and these are not the cheapest muffins, but that's okay, they're very nutritious. And then they've got chocolate chips in them, and sometimes we do banana muffins, sometimes we do apple cinnamon muffins, but usually we just do the honey spelt muffins. So those are great because then I put some in the freezer, just have enough for one snack day, and I put the rest in containers in the freezer, so that'll cover snacks for a couple of days in the week. Most days we'll have Greek yogurt and maybe some homemade granola for snack with maple syrup or honey or blueberries. But sometimes it's nice to have a different snack, and that'll be the muffins with maybe some kind of protein. They're already high in protein, so sometimes it'll just be an added piece of cheese, something like that. Other snacks that we like to make at the beginning of each week are gummies, simple juice and gelatin gummies. It works best with a concentrated juice, like a dark grape juice. And I have a video how to do this on YouTube. Just look for gummies, family food for moms. Search for that. It's also on the website under Easy Snacks for Moms. I think it's episode 4. Yes. So look on familyfoodformoms.com, podcast episode 4, and you'll see the recipe and the video inserted there. So gummies are great because you have them in the fridge. I put them in a big glass container. Don't worry to make them in molds. That takes too long. So I just cut them anytime. I cut a big slab out of the glass container, break it up, and everybody has a bit. And that's amazing for a quick protein sweet snack when you need one. Then I love to do either a almond butter bar with chocolate, dark chocolate, or a no-bake cheesecake. The no-bake cheesecake is also on our YouTube channel, Family Food for Moms YouTube channel, and also on that same blog post on the website. It's from episode 4. So you can see how to make it. The cheesecake is creamy, it's delicious, it's easy to make. You don't have to bake it, and you can just grind a little bit of homemade granola to sprinkle on top. It's amazing. Whenever you, as a mom especially, feel like eating something healthy but yummy, high protein during the day, you can just grab a scoop of this amazing cheesecake or a piece of the almond butter bar. So we will be doing a video on that soon. I don't have one yet, but I'll be putting the recipe at the bottom of this episode. So that's very delicious. The other thing we like to prepare in advance for snacks is homemade granola. It's always so great to sprinkle on top of a yogurt snack, And as I mentioned, you can grind it up and use it as a sprinkle on crust for the cheesecake, or even mix it with a bit of butter and make an actual crust at the bottom. And those are all amazing. And you can do them gluten-free then. You don't have to worry about having gluten in your pie crusts. So those are the snacks that we usually prepare each week, and it's so great to have those in the fridge and ready. It really saves me so many times when I'm rushing, when I haven't had much breakfast, when I need something to keep me going, when the kids are needing a quick something in the middle of school, when they're using their brains a lot. Those all help. Then the next thing I like to do is things that will help with breakfast during the week. So often the kids do their own breakfast using eggs. They'll make an egg omelette or fried egg and toast, but that's not quite enough protein, I think. So I'll try and do either beef sausages or chicken sausages or bacon cooked in advance, and again put in a glass container in the fridge. And then when they're making their breakfast, they just grab a few of those tiny little sausages and they warm them up as they're cooking their eggs. And that really helps them get a good solid breakfast. So I kind of count up how many sausages total will be needed for a couple of days, and I make sure those are in the fridge, and then I do them maybe twice a week to be ready. Some days we have high protein cottage cheese pancakes. So those are higher in protein. They also contain eggs. So then we don't need the sausages for those days. So my oldest daughter makes the batter for those pancakes in advance. She makes it the night before and puts it in the fridge, because then it's nice and thick for making the pancakes in the mornings of the days we have them. So the pancakes are a Trim Healthy Mama recipe using pancakes, oats, and eggs as their primary ingredients. And they work really well as a good high-protein breakfast. And they'll have them with grated cheese on top or a little bit of honey and butter. And we really love those. Next category, sauces and dressings. Something else we like to make each week is barbecue sauce. My middle son is now good at making that. We like to do homemade barbecue sauce because the store-bought one is full of so much junk. So it's got honey in it, it's got tomato puree, a little apple cider vinegar, and a few other things. So we cook that up, and then it's great for using on anything on the grill, chicken kebabs, sausage, beef sausage, chicken. Anything is made better with this barbecue sauce basting. I might also make a marinade for meat to be stored in the fridge, like a chicken and pineapple kebab with sauce. And then something like mayonnaise. I don't personally make mayonnaise at the moment because I can't get an olive oil that tastes good. And I don't like the taste of the avocado oil mayonnaise. But if you were to make something like that, that would be very useful for during the week. For sandwiches and shredded chicken, we do use mayonnaise from the store at this point. Then something like a salad dressing. If you wanted to just make up an olive oil and balsamic salad dressing, or a Greek or Italian one, it's easy to just shake it up and put it in the fridge. Then bone broth. Sometimes I buy, sometimes I make. I try to make as much as possible. And it's so yummy and delicious. So doing that once a week after cooking a piece of meat on the bone, then just leaving the bones in the crock pot, adding water, some onion, some carrots, some bay leaves, some pepper, etc. And then a little apple cider vinegar to help soften the bones. And then leaving that for about 24 hours to simmer on low. Then that makes a great bone broth, and you can leave that in the fridge to use in soups and stews and as gravy with roast meat during the week. You can thicken it to make the gravy and add salt. Next category, sides for extras. For those maybe who don't eat wheat or gluten, just extra things that I wouldn't cook with the main meal. So in our case, my hubby doesn't eat wheat, and I don't like to eat too much pasta or rice. I'm not that fond of those, or bread. So what we do is cook up a few roast or baked potatoes to keep in the fridge, perhaps a batch of rice, so that when we're having a meal, then my hubby and I can easily grab those sides instead of what the kids are having. So our 5 kids will often have pasta with chicken or mince. In that case, we'll have potato with chicken or mince with a bit of cheese on top. Or if they're doing a pie with pastry, like a chicken pie, or if they're doing something with tortillas or something with bread, then we'll usually use some potato or rice in its place. Or sometimes we'll do salad in its place, and I'll sometimes also steam up some vegetables like butternut squash or sweet potato or Brussels sprouts, broccoli, stir-fry vegetables, anything that's quick and easy to warm up to use in the place of the wheat or the starch in a recipe. If I don't cook these in advance, I find I'll forget. And then I'm busy with the crazy busies of the week, and we have something then for lunch like pasta, and I've forgotten about what my hubby can eat instead. So it really helps to have that in advance. I also love to eat fresh artichokes. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. So I like to steam some of those every day, almost every day. But it sometimes takes quite long to steam, and I forget to do it in time. So having a few that are already steamed and can be quickly warmed up in the steamer for 5 or 10 minutes, that really helps me. So those are the main things that we prepare for the week. Then I also will cook some meals early in the week because I find as the week goes on, it does get busier. So I'll just put a few things in the fridge ready to reheat and use. I don't like freezer meals very much, but if we just have a few cooked meats in the fridge, it's really helpful. Sometimes we do use the freezer. Like I've mentioned before, we pack extras into frozen lunch containers, glass containers with lids. So we'll package a little portion after a meal that will be left over as a lunch for my hubby and I in the future. But in this case, we have days when each of the kids help a little bit with cooking for an hour or so. So I'll get them to make some bolognese with ground beef or other mince that we'll use with nachos. Sometimes they'll do meatballs in a tomatoey sauce. Sometimes we'll do corned beef in the Instant Pot, which is great to slice to have on bread for lunches. Sometimes my son will do chicken curry, his signature recipe. Sometimes we'll do a roast in either the crock pot. Chicken is good, or lamb in the crock pot. I like to do beef in the Instant Pot. It seems to be more tender. Chicken breasts are great also to shred for a lunch, maybe with mayonnaise and sourdough. And I also like to have a few chicken breasts in the fridge as a snack for my sons. One of them goes to gym a few times a week, and he likes to take a piece of chicken for a snack. So those things are helpful. And then I can just add fresh veg or some extra rice or whatever we'd like to add when it's time for dinner. And lastly, I also try to take things out the freezer for the week ahead. So if we need bread, often I'll have sourdough in the freezer as we can't always get hold of it easily. I'm not one who makes sourdough at this point in my life, too busy. And meat. I like to take the meat out the freezer near the beginning of the week as I think about it. We do have 2 fridges, so this is hard if you don't have enough fridge space. But it's really helpful to me to have the ground beef defrosted, or have the ribs defrosted, or have the roast defrosted, or the chicken breasts or whatever, so that it's not a whole big thing when I decide to make it. It's already there, and then I can just look into the fridge, see what's ready to cook, and cook it, even if it's for a bit later in the week. And that helps hugely with the flow of food. There's no blockages, like things not being defrosted in time. So I hope this has inspired you. Think about what you'd like to do at the beginning of the week that would make your life easier, and that would help you to eat better, to eat more protein, to eat healthier during the week. I'd love to know some of your ideas of what you cook in advance in the week. So you can email me on Karen@familyfoodacademy.com. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I really appreciate you being here with me. See you next time.